The MacBook A1181 was a pretty serious computer in Apple's lineup. Back then, when this thing was new, it would have cost you about $1,000. Today, however, this thing's getting pretty old, and the hardware inside especially is getting really old. An Intel Core 2 Duo processor, 2 GB of RAM, and a 5400 RPM drive is typically what you find inside these machines. So what are some upgrades you can do to keep this thing running at its best in 2021, allowing it to keep up with the pack? Alright guys, so if you own one of these old MacBook A1181s and you're thinking, how can I keep this thing usable in 2021? I have the answers. So, let's start off with the first thing. This guy comes with an Intel Core 2 Duo processor, which is pretty old by today's standards. In fact, it's really old. It's a really old chip. But that's not a problem because macOS runs very well on that chip. And you're not even going to notice when you're using this thing that it has such an old processor inside because it's so fluid and fast and smooth. But one of the upgrades you can do to this Mac to keep it current in 2021 is to upgrade the RAM. So, normally these things would ship brand new with 2 GB of RAM, straight from Apple. That's all these Macs needed to run Snow Leopard back in the day, and Mountain Lion and, operating systems after that. But these things originally shipped with Snow Leopard, and really you only needed 2 GB of RAM to get by back then. However, upgrading to 4 GB of RAM is the highest amount that Apple says these specific machines will actually support, but users have actually been claiming that they can get upwards of 6 or 8 GB of RAM to be accepted in these models. So I'm definitely going to have to try that out because I do want to perform a RAM upgrade to this thing. Again, if you've watched any of my videos on this Mac before, you should know that I've already upgraded the RAM from 2 GB to 4, which is the minimum required for macOS Catalina to run. But now I have finally done another upgrade, which I'm really excited to share with you guys about this one because I've been wanting to do this upgrade for a while now, and I finally did it. So, the next thing to do with this MacBook, if you want to keep it current and, allow it to keep up with the pack, is put in a solid state. And I finally did that. So this guy is now running a Kingston 120 GB solid state drive. And let me tell you, if you've seen any other videos on installing solid states into your Mac, it's real. It really is. This thing is really fast now, and macOS Catalina just runs like a breeze now on this machine. Not that it didn't before, but all that wait time to get an application to open or to just launch Safari if it was closed all the way, or just, some of those graphics accelerations, like all that stuff just got really fast. So that is definitely an upgrade that you can perform to keep an old Mac like this current in 2021. Now I know I keep saying that a lot, but think about it. This MacBook is reselling Sometimes you get lucky enough to find it on eBay right now for under $100. These old MacBooks are selling for like dirt cheap compared to their original their original retail value of $1,000. So why is that? Well, honestly, I cannot provide you with probably the 100% correct answer, but I can give you my theory, my speculation on this matter. I think the reason these old Macs have gone down in price so much to the point where they're practically free is because they are the old white polycarbonate Macs. And I think Apple knew that they had a problem because the polycarbonate Macs were always chipping and cracking, and I think users were getting tired of having their Macs just chipping and cracking everywhere, and then it just became unsightly. And I think plastic just wasn't quite living up to Apple's standards of, a luxurious, premium, well-finished machine. So Apple, of course, introduced one more iteration of the white plastic MacBook, which was the 1342, if I'm not mistaken. And that one literally came out like right after this guy. Only ran for like a year or two, I think, before that one was discontinued. And pretty much by that point, MacBooks were running completely unibody aluminum, and plastic was pretty much gone. So I think the plastic plays a big role as to why this thing is so cheap, and I think the dated hardware is not helping. Because people who buy a Mac are going to want it to be able to do stuff, you want it to be functional. You want to be able to, get work done on it. So what are some things you can do to this Mac to allow it to get work done? Well, you can't upgrade the processor on these because that's soldered to the motherboard, so you're stuck with the Intel Core 2 Duo for life. You can upgrade the RAM, which I do recommend trying to go for at least 6 gigabytes of RAM, as the 4 will be enough, but I've already run into a few cases where the MacBook is pushing that 4 gigabyte limit, and let me tell you, the experience gets pretty bad when you're getting up there around 4 gigs of RAM usage. When you're almost maxing out your graphics acceleration, your performance, the operating system just tanks, and it becomes really sluggish and laggy and all this bad stuff. Trust me. So if you want to make sure you don't run into those instances where it is getting all laggy and buggy and slow like that, just go for 6. You'll never utilize the full 6 gigs, I don't think. And honestly, you'll never encounter those problems. And lastly is the solid state. Now, none of these are going to make the Mac more powerful. Obviously, the power, the brains, is that processor, but you can at least make the Mac faster at what it does. And, word editing, like Microsoft Office, if you like to design stuff or maybe draw, like I'm sure some drawing apps and some design apps will probably work just fine. But applications like Photoshop or Final Cut or Adobe Premiere, or heck, even Sony Vegas, those probably aren't going to work on here. You really need a more powerful Mac to get that done. If you've been watching my channel, then you know that I've had this Mac since 2016. I bought it used off of Amazon, and it literally pretty much looked like this. It was in pretty good shape. I'll go ahead and swing it around. This is pretty much what I got right out of the box. I bought this case for it to protect it, and it came with this keyboard cover, which I'm still using because I like it. I'm protecting that keyboard, and let me tell you, this is a good keyboard. People like this one. It's the chiclet style keyboard. It's those old scissor switch keys. Everybody loved this keyboard, and the typing experience is really good on this Mac. That's one of the benefits this thing has. Especially before Apple went to that butterfly keyboard, which nobody liked. So, I'll run down a quick list of some upgrades I did to this thing. I basically replaced the screen bezel on it once because the screen bezel had chipped in this corner up here. And I'll go ahead and swing it around again. Yeah, there we go, some awkward maneuvers. So it chipped right here. I replaced the screen bezel, and then the new screen bezel that I bought cracked again. I should have said cracked the first time. It's a crack, not a chip. It cracked, and so I grabbed some paint and a little bit of super glue, and I tried to patch it up, but it's still, it's unsightly. You notice it, it's right there. This must be like a stress point that's on the screen where this thing just cracks. I don't know how that is. I don't know why that's happening, and I don't know how to prevent it. All I know to do is to just get another bezel and be more gentle with how I'm handling this, because the stress point means there's stress being put on it from opening and closing the lid. So maybe I'm just being too rough with it. I don't know, but I did that. I upgraded from the original 2 gigabytes of RAM to 4, which made a major improvement in performance and speed. Really nice. Now I'm looking to upgrade to maybe 6 or 8. I might do 8, but I'm not sure yet. And now I put in the solid state. So in terms of upgradability for this Mac, have I reached the limit? Is that it? Well, yes, that is. That's about all you can do on the hardware level of upgrades. I mean, a new battery as well. That's another upgrade I'd like to do, because the battery in this thing is worn out. The cycle count is still good. It's around 100, which is really good. But the MacBook drains in about half an hour, which is not right, as these things are rated to last about 4 hours from Apple. So half an hour, that's not right. And I know the battery is not an original OEM battery, so I think that's why it's draining so quickly, and it's at a low cycle count, because it's not really a good battery. But other than that, I upgraded this thing from El Capitan, which was the last supported operating system that Apple allowed this Mac to have. I upgraded it to Catalina, and right now it is running the very latest release of Catalina, 10.15.7, and I've had this MacBook for that long, and honestly, it hasn't failed me once anywhere. It really hasn't. It's been an incredible machine. I used it when I was in college to work on my labs and to do my OneNote or my Word, and I use it pretty much every day to browse the internet, to watch YouTube videos. This is actually the machine that I upload all my videos with. So every YouTube video that you see on my channel gets transferred onto the Mac and uploaded to my YouTube. This is the Mac that I use, and I like using my Mac because if I'm doing YouTube videos away from home, it's just nice to have the Mac where I can just transfer the video onto the Mac and just upload it straight onto YouTube. Super nice. And yeah, I'm a content creator, so if that gives you an idea of how usable this thing can still be in 2021, I am essentially running my YouTube channel off of this MacBook right now, with the help of my iPhone XR as my video camera. It's, you might call it a weekend warrior setup, but it gets the job done, and this is what's getting me through right now. This is what's getting my channel going. As I continue to grow, I would like to do some upgrades and, you know, maybe get a studio of some sort, a place where I can record instead of my dining room, but you know, I'm starting off small with dreams and goals of getting bigger. And like I said in my last video, for those of you who watch me and who support my channel, and you know, for those of you who like the content, thank you very much. I really appreciate all of you who are watching. And for those of you who don't like my videos, thank you for clicking and taking the time. I'm sorry that they weren't your cup of tea, but again, thank you for stopping by, and honestly, I hope y'all have a wonderful day when you stop by and you watch them, and then you go or you stay to see more of my content. But just thank you everybody for your time, and I do have plans to continue growing my channel, and I'm hoping I can show off my MacBook a little bit more, because my goal is to really use this MacBook until I can't. And I know I've probably got about 5 years left, maybe a little bit less, as Catalina is starting to get old and Intel Macs are being phased out. So I don't have a lot of time left with this Mac, and I guess for the rest of you who are looking to buy an Intel Mac, if you're on a budget and you need to get a MacBook that's cheap because you can't afford to buy a brand new Mac, these are definitely a good buy. I'm going to recommend the A1181 because it can run the latest version of Catalina, and it is totally usable for school. I mean, a kid that needs it for college to do OneNote or to work on, some labs, like some Sims, or just, some light stuff, packet tracer, you name it, whatever it might be, this Mac will get it done. It got it done for me when I needed it, and it's still getting the job done for me now to run my YouTube channel. So I can recommend this Mac. All you got to do is just upgrade the RAM and the hard drive just to get it, up to speed. But I mean, after that, as long as the battery's fine and you slap at least High Sierra or Mojave on this thing, you're good to go. And I mean, eventually I'd like to upgrade to an M1 Mac. And I apologize that I haven't been bringing you guys any coverage of that, but there's a bunch of YouTubers out there who have already reviewed and covered M1 Macs. And I'll tell you, those things are incredible. If you want my personal opinion, I think Apple is changing the world again. And I think putting one of their own custom silicon chips into a MacBook or an iMac is just, it's a game changer. Those M1 Macs are literally just insane. So I'd love to get one of those, and honestly a MacBook Air, because it's really powerful now. So I do have plans to upgrade my Mac and to maybe get a dedicated studio type space eventually. But for now, I'm totally fine with just, recording my videos here. So long as you guys like them, I hope, I'm doing a good job, and this is it right here. This is my A1181, and I'm going to use her until I can't no more, till the OS literally becomes unfunctional. But yeah, so the solid state drive was the latest upgrade I did to this thing. It made this MacBook way faster, and honestly, I'm really happy, guys. So I think that's about gonna wrap it up for this video. I really appreciate the time, and yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. If you guys like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. If you want to get notified about when I'm releasing new content, please hit that notification bell. If you like this video in specific, please hit that thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down is fine. And if you want to talk MacBook with me, or maybe share some experiences, or your Mac, maybe you have an A1181 and you want to talk about it in the comments, feel free to drop some comments down below. I would love to read them and see if there's anybody else out there that's still using one of these in 2021. I will tell you, one time when I was at college, I saw another student using one of these. This was a couple years ago. So I know these A1181s are still out there. So just drop a comment down below if you want to talk about it. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.